What's up, friends? Happy Thursday, and welcome into another edition of Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. My name is Daniel Courtwright. We got Trey Myers and Elijah Schmidt running the operations. They are turning big cranks over there and running on a hamster wheel, making sure that all these operations are going smoothly. Sean Kellerman is not here today. He'll be back on Monday, taking you through the rest of this week. Got a packed show for you as JHX Hoops, they take down Purple Rain 84-80 in Game 2 of the basketball tournament in a best-of-3 series. It looked a little shaky there at halftime. Purple Rain was up 47-33, I believe, at halftime. You thought, oh, man, just a complete, duplicate of what happened out in Bramlage, but JHX Hoops able to come back and win it. That was a really exciting game. I mean, honestly, that was one of the best things that I've seen. I have a problem with the Elam ending, and I'll get to that in a second, but I'll be breaking that down. Frank Mason was incredible in this game. Billy Preston, also really good. So, yeah, I got a lot of great stuff going. Honestly, JHX Hoops, man, a lot of fun to watch. Ton of fun. I got a lot of post-game as well, and that's what we're going to be hearing from in the second segment of the show. You got Sherron Collins, head coach, assistant coach Tyshawn Taylor, as well as Zeke Mayo at the podium. Got about 13 minutes of that, so that should be a ton of fun. Coming up after that, going to be doing a little KU football talk as we have an old friend of the show. I don't think he's ever been on this show before, but old friend of ours, John Kirby from JayhawkSlant on 3. Going to be talking all things KU football, kind of previewing this upcoming year. So that should be a ton of fun as well. Also, from the flip side of that, after John Kirby, it's a 2-guest show. Twofer. Jack Ritter, Fog.net, and 24/7 Sports going to be joining the show in studio. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Obviously, Jack does some great work over there. Just had a Yasin Willis write-up on Fog.net, so be sure to read that. After Jack comes in studio, going to be talking to Zeke Mayo, Tyshawn Taylor, and Billy Preston after the game at Lee Arena. It was a ton of fun. Billy Preston had 15 points off the bench in Game 1 and 18 points as a starter. So actually, our good colleague Jimmy Kaufman got a chance to catch up with Billy Preston. I also had a chance to catch up with Zeke Mayo and Tyshawn Taylor after the game. So a lot of fun there. And then after that, going to be doing another Chiefs opponent outlook. Going to be breaking down the bye week and how the Chiefs are going to be taking that week off, going to Cancun maybe. Nope, I'm just kidding. It's actually going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. That is the next game after the bye. Chiefs have a bye week 5. I absolutely hate it. It's too early of a bye week for me. But you get the Chargers after the bye week, which is going to be good. So I'll kind of break that down, what I think of the Chargers this year. If Justin Herbert's primed to have a breakout year, is he going to be a top 5 Heisman? Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? Top 5 MVP vote getter. Man, I'm so tired. You guys have no idea. These last 2 days have been a struggle for old Danny Boy, okay? I got home Tuesday night. I got home at 2 a.m. Because we were bouncing around Manhattan. I was with our colleague Jimmy Kaufman, and he is a K-State grad, and he wanted to take a little trip down memory lane. So I was like, all right, no problem. So I got home 2 a.m. on Tuesday night, technically Wednesday morning, and then last night got home late again, and I was working up until about midnight. So I'm tired. If you see me take a sip of coffee in between and there's some dead air, just bear with me. But, I wanted to break down this game. But first, I got to tell you about KansasNation.com. KansasNation.com, the only place to find the best KU athletics coverage around. Go to KansasNation.com. We're actually going to be doing another play-by-play coverage with Pat Strothman and Wyatt Wheeler tomorrow for Game 3 of the basketball tournament as JHX Hoops travels back out to Bramlage to take on Purple Rain in a winner-take-all. I guess not take-all because they're not taking the $2 million, but this is to go to bracket play. And you know how much we absolutely love brackets. It's going to be taking on the winner of the Aftershocks versus Enchantment, New Mexico alumni. So that should be a ton of fun as well. But go to KansasNation.com to be sure to check that out. Game 3 starts at 6 o'clock. Also check us out on all of our social media platforms as well. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at the Kansas Nation, at Kansas Nation on YouTube, and Kansas Nation on Facebook for all the best coverage, all the best content that you'll see regarding TBT, right? I mean, that's where we're at right now. It's so exciting. Obviously, seeing these guys. I had a moment yesterday where I kind of was – so I'm supposed to be grabbing content and different things, and obviously I was doing that, and you saw all the content on all of our social media platforms. But I had a moment where I put down the phone, and I just watched. Because there was a time yesterday where Frank Mason and Mario Chalmers and Zeke Mayo were all out there on the floor together. And I just kind of wanted to soak it in, you know? It was such a surreal moment to be like, oh, man. And like Mario and Frank, two of the all-time legends, like two guys, like Frank's going to be in the rafters someday. Chalmers, I think, is already in the rafters right now. Two guys who are just absolute legends sharing the court at the same time. Now, it diluted it a little bit for me because it was at Washburn, and I hate Washburn. I hate Lee Arena. I hate everything about him. But I was just kind of soaking that in. I was like, man, I watched Mario when I was a kid. Like, Frank Mason was such a formidable player for me because that was like all through high school for me, right? And then into my freshman year of college where I was watching Frank Mason, and he wound up winning the Naismith Player of the Year. So I was kind of taking it in a little bit because it is a cool thing, and you kind of saw Kansas fans doing that as well. Kansas showed up. I mean, Kansas fans showed up. It was packed out. I mean, virtually sold out at Lee Arena. So that was really cool to see, man. But yeah, JayHawks Hoops, they go and take down Purple Rain yesterday. Frank Mason redemption game, I guess, is what you could really call it, right? And if you look at what he did game one in Bramlage, not a great showing by Frank Mason. He did have 10 points, but he went 3 for 11 from the field, had 7 turnovers. And I had talked about this on yesterday's show, about how all they were doing was playing iso ball. It's like, hey, get out of the way. Frank's going to dribble between his legs twice, take 3 dribbles in, get to 15 feet, pick up the ball, panic, and then throw it away. And in K-State scores in transition, right? K-State was scoring – Purple Rain, was playing a lot better team basketball than Kansas was, JayHawks Hoops was, at Bramlage. But then you started to see the cohesiveness. You started to see the chemistry begin to build. You saw more swing passes. You saw guys looking for the pass first instead of, dribbling, panicking, and then trying to look for a pass where the defense would swarm out and get in the passing lanes, right? You saw a better team defense. You saw the big men get more involved. Not as involved as I would probably like them to be, but still getting more involved. And when you looked at kind of what happened throughout at least the second half of this game, because when this game started, it was 47-33 going into halftime, right? And you thought, oh, man, here it is again. This isn't the year. And you heard from Gary Bedore actually asked Sherron, said at halftime, like, did you guys think, like, oh, I guess this isn't the year? You know what I mean? But you kind of had that thought, right, of like, oh, my gosh, like, what is happening? Like, the shots aren't falling for these guys. First quarter, second quarter, Zeke Mayo's not putting anything through the hoop. Frank isn't looking great right now. Jacob Hanna, and I thought, and again, you know how much I hate giving credit to Washburn guys, but Jacob Hanna was really good in this game. And granted, it's his home court. Same as Andrew Orr. Andrew Orr actually was really good in this game as well. He had 18 minutes, only 5 points, but he did the majority of the guarding on Michael Beasley down the stretch, and he just wanted to take it on his own. Which, like, shout out to Andrew Orr, man. He stuffed Michael Beasley on one of them and did a really good job in kind of keeping him in front. But those two guys did an excellent job, both on the defensive end, on the rebounding aspect of things, and on the offensive end as well. I mean, Jacob Hanna, what did he finish? He finished with 12 points in this game, had another monster dunk too. So it's like you can see the athleticism from Jacob Hanna, kind of a small, shifty guard, but can really get up and do some damage and grabbing rebounds as well. He had 6 rebounds. I mean, how impressive is that from Jacob Hanna? So, credit to him. But, Frank, you didn't really see him come on until late. He winds up at 23 points, 9 for 22 from the field, only 1 for 7 from the three-point line. So didn't make a lot of threes, but he had 1 3 down the stretch that was absolutely massive, right? Zeke Mayo, 3 for 9 from the three-point line. Now you look at that and you go, okay, that's 33%, right? All 3 of those threes, I'm pretty sure, came in the second half. He was not shooting the ball very well at the beginning. And I talked to Zeke Mayo about this after the game. He said, didn't let him phase him, just kind of let it roll off your shoulders. And that's what you have to do as a shooter, right? That's the mentality that you have to have is, hey, if I'm not making them right now, guess what? Out of your mind, focus on the next one. And that's what Zeke Mayo did. And he made a couple of massive threes down the stretch. So Zeke was great in this game. He winds up at 15 points. Billy Preston, I want to give a big shout out to him. He went 7 for 14 from the field. That's 50%. Shot a couple of threes. He had a really bad three at the end for the Elam ending, like trying to essentially end the game. I was like, Billy, I get it. You were highly touted in high school, coming into Kansas. Didn't really pan out. But you're not a guard. And he can put the ball on the ground. He can score. He is nice. But when he puts the ball on the ground, I mean, you saw it in game one. The ball was getting swiped away. And he had 3 turnovers on his own just from trying to dribble the ball in game one. Game two was a lot better. He only had 1 turnover in this one. Zeke wound up having 4, but Frank Mason had 2 turnovers in this game, and 2 of them really kind of weren't. I guess like one of them really wasn't his fault, as opposed to game one where Frank had 7, right? So you were seeing the facilitation of Frank Mason and seeing that competitive spirit from Frank Mason that I think you could tell game one bothered him so much that he just decided, you know what, I'm taking over this game. And not in a, ISO ball situation, but just like hey, I'm just going to play my brand of basketball, where it's transition layups, cross between, coast to coast, layup here, kick out here. I mean, he was really nice. He had 3 assists in this game as well. So I thought Frank played incredible. And then Frank Mason had the game winner, right? I mean, so awesome. He winds up, Billy Preston, I wanted to talk about this, the Elam ending. I have an issue with it now. I did like it, and now I've talked about the Elam ending saying that it kind of dilutes game winners, right? Because of the fact that when you think about a true game winner, I like game winners more when they're timed because it's a perfect storm of everything happening all at once, right? With the clock running down. When you force game winners, it dilutes true game winners. When you're like, hey, here's a target score, first one to that target score, that's the game-winning shot. I get that, right? But game winners are more fun when it's the game-winning shot and it's on a timer, right? It's just more pageantry. It's better, I think. I like the Elam ending, like I said, because it does end on a game winner. But both teams are at 80. And Frank, when it goes coast to coast, I think, has a tough lay-in, like reverse lay-in, ties it up at 80. JayhawkS Hoops was down 8, by the way, going into the Elam ending. So it was 75 to 67 was the score going into the Elam ending. And the Jayhawks, they wind up surpassing them. In the fourth quarter, they outscored Purple Rain 26 to 15, and a lot of that was after the Elam ending, right? So, I mean, it was really impressive what they were able to do in that Elam ending. But like I said, both teams are at 80. The target score is 83, and you just see chucked 3 after chucked 3 after chucked 3. And the head coach for Purple Rain talked about it. He said, yeah, that was the idea because of the fact that, hey, our guys are tired. They're playing back-to-back games right now. They just want to end it. But to me, that's bad coaching. That's bad. That's terrible coaching. You're just like, hey, just keep chucking threes. One of them's going to go in. We know you're tired, so why don't you shoot farther away from the basket? No, that's terrible coaching. And Kansas was trying to do that as well. JayhawkS Hoops was trying to do that too. They were just trying to answer those three-pointers, trying to end it on a three-pointer. I understand, like, that's more fun, but it just turned into an ugly three-point chucking fest, which is not what you want if you're watching, like, pure basketball. It's kind of I don't want to say disgrace, but after, I don't know, 5 maybe possessions in a row where JayhawkS Hoops and Purple Rain didn't make a three, then you saw Billy Preston get the ball in the corner, and guess what? He drove in. and hit a little 12-footer from the corner. That's what you needed to do. Then all of a sudden, whoa, hey, now it's 82, 80, and you need to get to 83. Now the defense changes all of a sudden, where they're not going to be guarding the three as heavy. They're forcing up shots on heavily guarded threes. Now the defense has to play back a little bit. You can hit three if you need it. Or if you're Frank Mason, you can drive in, put a ball up, grab your own rebound, tip it back in, and win the game. And that's exactly what happened. And Frank Mason, you could see the competitiveness from Frank Mason, and he wanted that one so bad. Didn't get a chance to talk to him afterwards. I actually talked to, I think it was either his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. I talked to her afterwards, and she was like, oh, do you want him to? And I was like, no, it's like he's, they were trying to get out of there. They had like dinner plans, and it was already like 10:30, and I was like, look, he can get out of here. But I did manage to grab Zeke Mayo and Tyshawn Taylor after the game, which is really cool. So I didn't get to talk to Frank. I'll probably try to talk to him on Friday night, because I'm going out to Bramlage again on Friday night. But yeah, man, I mean, it was just, you could see the difference, right? They weren't playing iso ball as much. They were playing team basketball as much. I mean, you looked at it in terms of JHX Hoops. They had 11 assists on the game, where, the game before that, I think they only had 9, maybe. I mean, that's just not good enough, right? So they were playing better team basketball, getting better looks, getting better shots, and the passing around and the off-ball movement, I think, was a lot better, where in terms of game 1, you had one guy at the top of the key trying to play iso ball, and everybody else is just standing around. That's not how you play basketball. At least that's not how you play high-level basketball when there's $2 million at large. You need to play better team basketball. You need to have better off-ball movement. And I think Tyshawn Taylor and Sherron Collins made the right adjustments, right? Tyshawn told me that he watched the film 3 times, and he said that was one of the biggest things, was just the aggressiveness that they had in terms of driving to the rim. And then also the kind of the off-ball movement as well was a lot better. So, Frank Mason was just absolutely incredible in this game. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I miss watching him play basketball, man. I do. He was so good at Kansas, and you saw flashes of that, right? Especially at the end with the Elam ending. And you saw Michael Beasley get dinged up a little bit. I think that was helpful for JHX Hoops to not have Beasley out there down the stretch, because Beasley, if anybody's going to hit you a big shot, it's him. But he wound up getting dinged up, and K-State's head coach afterwards said that he should be ready to go for Friday. I've heard differently. I know that they have big 3 commitments, so we'll see if both Michael Beasley and Mario Chalmers are going to be back for Game 3. I'm not entirely sure. Again, that's kind of what I'm hearing right now, but he said he'd be back for Friday, so we'll certainly see, because I don't want to see Michael Beasley and Bramlage again, man, because he just kept on getting so fired up and, just was talking the entire time, so animated, and it's so funny to watch Michael Beasley play basketball. But again, you had really nice performances out of a lot of Jayhawks, right? Frank Mason, like I said, 23 points. You had Jacob Hanna with 12 points, 4 for 5 from the field, and he winds up with 6 rebounds as a small, shifty guard. That's really impressive too. Frank Mason, by the way, for what it's worth, also 6 rebounds as well. Jamari Traylor didn't play great in this game, and you didn't honestly see him a lot, right? He started the game, then he was kind of a no-show for a good majority of it. I don't know if he was still dinged up or whatever it may be, but you had to bring in Andrew Orr for a lot of that. And then Carlton Bragg also had 12 minutes in this game too, but you kind of had to play small ball a little bit. Billy Preston was playing essentially the 5, and they were kind of playing 5 out, right? And it was interesting to kind of see how that was working, but it wound up working for JHX Hoops, right? Jamari Traylor, like I said, 15 minutes, only 5 points in this one. But Billy Preston, 24 minutes, 18 points for him, 9 rebounds. He led the team in rebounds. And Billy Preston, I think he started to understand that, hey, I'm not a guard. Even though he can play it a little bit, right? He can hit those outside shots. It's like, Billy, buddy, we need you down there to rake in the rebounds and get those offensive rebounds, get those second chance possessions. And, he wound up getting 4 offensive rebounds and did a really good job. So I liked what Billy Preston was able to do. In this game, you also had Andrew Orr, like I said. You look at the stat sheet, 5 points, 18 minutes, 2 for 3 from the field, only 2 rebounds for Andrew Orr, but his biggest impact was on the defensive side of the ball. where he was like one-on-one with Michael Beasley, like going head-to-head, and was able to kind of contain him a little bit. Beasley wound up with 16 points. I do understand that. Xavier Sneed got off to an incredibly hot start. I mean, my goodness, he was hitting every single three, dunking the ball. He went 5 for 10 from the three-point line, 27 points for Xavier Sneed. I mean, that just absolutely came out of nowhere. And then Sean Williams came off the bench for Purple Rain, 15 points in 26 minutes. He goes 6 for 14 from the field. I mean, two guys you didn't really expect to do a whole hell of a lot. You had Michael Beasley. Like, Dejuan Gordon was trying to, do some stuff as well. He only went 1 for 3 from the field. Childress had some nice shots, too. He had a couple of big-time threes down the stretch. But JayHawks Hoops, they were able to kind of pull it together, man, and, wind up beating Purple Rain 84-80. They outscored them 25-18 in the third quarter and 26-15 in the fourth quarter, including the Elam ending when they were down 8 when the Elam ending wound up starting. So 14-point deficit is the largest that they were down. But JayHawks Hoops able to bring it back, man, and shout out to JayHawks Hoops. They go out to Bramlage on Friday, and hopefully they can kind of gain on this momentum. And if you're in the area or if you're anywhere, like, make sure to go get your tickets and go support, because Game 1 was packed to the gills with all K-State fans, all Purple Rain fans, right? There are some KU fans, but it was loud in that arena, and whenever KU scored, you didn't hear a lot of cheers over at Bramlage. Lee Arena was fantastic. KU fans really showed out for that. But they're going to need that out at Bramlage for Game 3, because you're getting Michael Beasley back in Bramlage once again, potentially, right? You're getting Xavier Sneed. You're getting Cartier-Jada. You're getting all these guys back in Bramlage once again. So Kansas fans, Jayhawk fans, you need to go out there and support your guys and try to, get them back. And Sherron Collins said, like, hey, man, I understand, like, sometimes, like, it has been disappointing in years past, but he tries to go after everybody. We're going to hear this in the press conference coming up next. So they try to go after everybody. They go after Doak. They go after Devontae Graham. They go after Devon Dotson. They go after all of these guys, and a lot of them don't want to risk the injury or have prior commitments or whatever that may be. He said, but if we go out there and win it this year, guess what? A lot of those guys probably going to be trying to come back and play. You might see Devontae Graham. You might see Devon Dotson. You might see Udoka Azubuike, right? You might see a lot of these guys. So they're going to try to get better, but it all starts with this, and you got to see Billy, play down low more. You got to get the big men more involved, and you got to see Frank Mason be the Frank Mason we all know and love. Hey, we're going to hear from Sherron Collins, Tyshawn Taylor, and Zeke Mayo at the podium after taking down Purple Rain 84-80. That's right here on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.
Yo, this is Paul Pierce, and you're watching Kansas Nation.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
You work hard and play hard. With a new Can-Am side-by-side from Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, you can haul, tow, and hustle from dusk to dawn without slowing down a bit. Get one for a lot less during the Can-Am Fresh Deals for Summer event, going on now through July 31st. Save up to $1,500 on select 2026 Can-Am Defender models. Hardworking, low maintenance, and built to take a beating. And the prices are hard to beat right now at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region. You deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances, so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Welcome back into Rock Jock Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Hey, spring and summer are made for backyard fun. If you're like me, you got dogs chasing tennis balls, family cookouts past sunset. If you're like Sean, you got kids running around in the grass. Nothing ruin times outside faster than fleas, ticks, and chiggers. That's why families can trust Custom Lawn and Landscape to help keep their lawns beautiful and protected all season long. Their home insect control program helps defend your lawn from those pesky bugs so your pets and loved ones can enjoy the outdoors more comfortably and safely. Right now, if you sign up, your first application is 100% free. That's right. I did not stutter. Your first application is 100% free when you sign up for this season. It's a simple way to take back your backyard this spring and summer. You can visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your first free application with a seasonal insect control program. Custom Lawn and Landscape, helping you love your lawn without the bugs. Hey, JHX Hoops, they take down Purple Rain 84-80 yesterday at Lee Arena in Topeka. We heard from head coach Sherron Collins, assistant coach Tyshawn Taylor, and player Zeke Mayo after the game. Let's hear them right now.
Frank's final play. Relentless. Missed it. He probably should have made the first one, so he knew it, and he went right out there and got it and scored. That's a play that I've seen him make a lot of times, and I've made. That's just the will to win. He just wanted to win.
All three of you guys collegiately played in this rivalry. And Sherron, you talked about how last night, how it was big to come back about that. How big was it? I mean, you guys were down 15 or 16, and to come back the way you did.
It was real big. We talked about this, about staying the course, not giving up, getting down. And to be honest, Ty expressed all the time how we need to stay close for the Elam. Especially around that time, we want to be close. And I think we were down 16 in that fourth quarter at a point, and we ended up cutting it to 8 or 10. Going to the Elam,
I think we got it to 8 with like 3:25.
Which was really big for us. But yeah, I mean, a guy yesterday said, felt good beating people that he normally beat, named me and Mario. But again, when he come to Kansas side, see what happened. Just like back then when he came to Kansas side, we beat him by 25. So I guess it's a Manhattan thing. Maybe he got good luck this way, but he still lost again. So that's 0-2 in Kansas.
And Zeke, you struggled to score. But when it came late, you hit some big shots. How do you keep that confidence? How do you keep shooting? Just get it out of your head and keep going.
These two, just being under their wing for the last, few days and going into this tournament and last year, obviously. But these two, they push me, with the little time that we've had. I mean, they give me confidence. The other guys give me confidence. So a scorer's mentality is to continue to shoot whether you make or miss. So I'm not really worried about misses right now. The shots are going to fall, but obviously, just going to continue to play my game, and we're going to keep fighting.
And the crazy part about Zeke, I'm gonna touch on that. Sorry, Shay. I want to touch on that is because he's getting good looks. Like he's not forcing shots, he's not rushing shots, he's not taking bad ones. He's taking makeable shots. So it's our job as coaches to encourage him to keep shooting those shots because they will go in. And didn't he hit a big one when we needed one?
Yeah.
That's why you encourage your shooters to keep.
Can't
shooting.
let him get down on himself. It's always next shot mentality. Next shot, next one going in. He shoot.
6 for 15 actually is not that bad either.
And he put in the work, so you rely on your work. He worked his ass off. He worked his tail off. So you rely on the work. And he worked hard, so we want him to shoot them shots.
And Zeke, you're from Lawrence. I know this means, whether it's TBT, whether it's Kansas, or wherever you're playing, this means something. How big was it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to watch the rivalry growing up, man. I saw Bees on TV when he was, talking his mess in Manhattan, and then like Sherron said, when they came back to the crib, it was a 20 ball. So it feels good to go out there and just continue to play the rivalry. Obviously, it's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of emotions going into the game. So it's fun, but at the end of the day, it's just hoops, and that's what I'm here to do.
These games are so fun.
So the two coaches, obviously, you're in a game 3 situation. What's for you now? Tonight, what's the biggest key for Friday? I mean, if there's one,
I would say being the aggressor.
Hitting first.
We got to hit them first.
Hitting first. We can't be playing from down 14-10 like we did the first game where we never cracked under 8 points or 6 points. We played 16, 12, 8, back to 16. We gotta hit first and play from up or keep the game close like we did today.
And I hope Beasley's okay because we want them at full strength. So.
Offensively, we also can't get caught standing. We had a lot of possessions in yesterday's game where they were empty possessions because offensively we just stood. Today we had a lot more ball and body movement, and it showed offensively.
Tyshawn, you talked about missing Frank last year when he played for another team, TBT. How good does it feel to have someone that can make big shots? You did tonight.
For one, it's so important to have a good point guard on any team. Yeah. But to have somebody that's high level like that, understands the game, is a competitor like Frank. I mean, we gotta love that. And the crazy part about it is you talking about somebody shooting. He hasn't shot good yet either. He's gonna play way better.
Yeah.
He's gonna play way better Friday. And if we get past Friday, he's gonna play way better. So like, yeah, it's important to have a good guard, and we are lucky to have somebody of that caliber.
But it's also important to have a guard of that caliber that listens to us. He can go off on his own. He can say, I know this, and he's credible to say that. But I think that just speaks the volumes that they got respect for us as big bros and brotherhood within the KU, because he can come in and just, be on his own.
Yeah, they all could do that. They all
can do that, and they all come in and they coachable. And that's the thing we can ask for, is them to listen to us and trust us. So
for sure.
That's dope.
So the coaches and for Zeke, how much easier is it to have a guy like Billy who can basically be a 6'8" guard? How much easier does it make you as a shooter?
Man, he's so good. Billy's so good, bro. Like
I don't think you know how good he is.
Yeah, like Billy's so good. With his size, his hands, his feet, his skill, he's so good. Like I watch him sometime, and I'm amazed that he's not a professional basketball player, like NBA professional, not just like overseas. Like he's that good. Obviously, happens, but talent-wise, just pure skill, he's so good.
Top of the top.
How happy are you guys for him to have a moment like he had tonight? Because he wasn't unfortunately able to play at KU, but he's able to experience like these fans and this environment.
I think it's super cool for him.
Yeah. He's played with us the last 3 years. He's been committed to this. He's been loyal to us. Like he's come and hasn't been like high maintenance. Like he just won the hoop.
He just want to win, man.
Yeah, he's a hooper. So
I
love it.
He only got to experience, the Kansas a little bit. So I think the fans love him being here just as well as he loves being here. But I mean, the first time he was here, he was like, "Man, I've been waiting on this." And so we know he's committed, and like Ty said, he's a talent, man, that you can't really put your hand on what he do everything. And tonight he had a moment like that for us, and we need him to keep having those moments because he's a matchup problem.
Sherron, you're down 14 in the third. Did you ever start to think maybe this isn't the year these guys?
Gary with the tough question.
No, but to be honest though, like we human, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like, oh, here we go again. But tonight I never had that. I just seen something different, especially late in that third quarter when I think Frank started the pressure and picking up full court, and once your point guard like that starts that, everybody follows, and we started getting turnovers and stops, and then we was able to turn it. So honestly, not tonight. I didn't think it was over. Not tonight.
I mean, were you guys just full of pride to come back, or any doubt ever down 14 in the third?
I mean, what do you think?
We're gonna lose.
What do you think? You thought we was gonna lose or what?
Gary, I'll be honest. I looked to the bench a couple times and was like, "Bro, we gotta get a stop.
If you want to,
we gotta get a stop. Somebody gotta make a shot." How many times I looked to the bench and was like, "Somebody gotta make a shot. Like, we gotta score."
If you want an honest answer, there was a few moments out there where you're like, "Damn, like this might be it in 2 days." But like Sherron said, man, we just got a group of guys that don't quit, and it showed tonight on that floor. So. We're just excited for another opportunity, man. We're going to go down to Manhattan and take advantage for sure.
How big was the defense when they needed a three? You guys stopped them with those 3
4 times in a row. We hadn't gotten 4 stops in a row. I swear I talk about that. We hadn't gotten 2 or 3 stops in a row
all day yesterday and today.
That was the first time that we've gotten 2 or 3 stops in a row.
Yeah.
And the game was on the line, so that tells you how much these guys wanted to win the game, because we got multiple in a row. We could have won the game. Frank missed the layup. We missed 3 free throws in the Elam ending to get to 3 points. We missed 3 free throws. Excuse my language, guys. I'm still getting it.
We lost the game previously, something like this, similar to this, a couple years ago, just because we fell in love with the 3. And we tried to go get the 2s this time. Frank missed the layup. We missed some free throws. So it was hard, like, okay, now Zeke will send us home. So we wanted to try to, you bounce back and forth with it.
I missed.
And we had Frank with an open layup. So, but I think in that part, right, you go get the 2s. You go get the 2s and you go. And what I told him today is what we take from this is we ain't played our best basketball, not yet at all.
Yeah.
Neither one of these games.
It shows that we win while we play bad.
That's so fun.
I'm honestly, man, I think we played better tonight than last night, and I think Friday we'll play better than we played tonight. So I don't think we have another bad drop-off.
Sherron, just how big was Jacob Hannon tonight? Back on his home court?
Huge.
Arena. Just give him a shout-out. What was he for you guys?
He was everything for us. He's relentless in transition. We want to give him the ball. We want to pitch it ahead, let him go. He makes winning plays. It's not always going to show up right here. He's going to go get rebounds. He's going to get his hands on balls. He's going to get deflections. He's going to get up and guard. He's so in shape. I love him, and I tell him, you can ask him, I'll pump him up, and I tell him, go, go, go. Don't get out here. I don't want him to be passive. We want him to do what he does. And he's showing it, dunking on people, and he's big for us, and he's a big part of this. We're glad we got him. We lucked him to a gym for sure. Was great. We knew that's what he can do, and that's why we picked him up. We knew he's a banger. He's gonna get down there every lane. He's not scared of anything. He's gonna take the challenge. And tonight we kind of was trying to put Billy on him, and Andrew was like, "Nope, I got him," and we loved that about him. So we love the two hometown boys, man. They really served us and Washburn well tonight.
You guys only had about one or two practices before this thing started. We're still getting players and calls for it. The day before the game yesterday. Day of the game. So it kind of felt like that. Like especially in the first game, first half of this game, a lot of turnovers, a lot of defensive breakdowns. You guys feel that cohesiveness starting to come together, and especially in the second half going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think these guys are all high-level basketball players. So obviously not having a bunch of practices hurts, but when you get on the court and you got to go through some things, they're high-level guys. So we talk about it. We watch film today. We got shots up. So we were able to kind of see some of the mistakes that we made and things that we were able to correct and opportunities where we could take advantage of, and they did that today. And I think it started in the first quarter when we just started driving the basketball. We didn't do that a lot yesterday. And then also today defensively, we weren't packing the paint. So when they were able to turn the corner, throw lobs, nobody was sucking in to help. And today they didn't get one lob.
No, they got one, but they want to dunk.
Right. So they got one lob opposed to 4 momentum-changing lobs like they had yesterday. And that was a sit down, watch film this morning, get some shots up, talk about it, and we made the adjustments. So we'll do the same thing. We'll come back, we'll watch a little bit of this tape, and we'll try to get even better now. Practices are important, but when you high-level guys, bro, you sit down and you talk about the game and watch, have some back-and-forth banter about it, and you watching tape, that could probably help more than getting on the court.
I want to add to that, though. I want to give a shout-out right now to Stephanie, Brennan, especially Ty, me, and Jackson. Especially but Ty and
yeah, give me my flowers, bro.
Stephanie, for sure. Y'all don't understand how hard it is to put this thing together, to get these guys here. We go out there and we got to answer questions for fans because they DM us like, "Oh, he's not a KU guy. Why is he on the team?
Why don't you go get Doak?
Yeah.
Why don't you go get this guy?
Trust me, we go out to all those guys." And I finally responded to one. Got to me a little bit, and I told him we go out to every guy that you asked me on that list for. We go out to all our top guys, and respectfully, some of them just don't want to risk the injury, and some don't come play. But we go after the top guys. We go after Devon Dotson. We go after Wayne Selden. We go after Doak. We go after Jeff Whitney. We go after Malik Newman. We go after Devontae Graham. We go after everybody. And these guys that come volunteer their time for this. So we want the right guys to come, obviously, but we can't get those guys. This is so hard to get. You see this. It's calls happening on game days. We never, it's so hard to do this. So I tip my hat off to them because I'm coaching AAU half of the summer and they dealing with this. So I don't have to deal with all this, but I watch them and I'm in the conversations, and it's so hard because you get 5 guys to commit. And then when it's time to commit and actually do it, those 5 guys say, I can't do it. So now you got to go chase another 5 guys. It's hard. So to our fans, be patient with us. We're going after those guys, trust me, but some of those guys just.
What's going to happen is
how about you guys? We win this year.
And everybody going to want to play.
And everybody flood their DMs. And
they can't play after we win, though.
Flood the DMs.
That was JayHawks Hoops head coach Sherron Collins, assistant coach Tyshawn Taylor, and player Zeke Mayo. Post-game after JayHawks Hoops takes down Purple Rain 84-80. Hey, after this, going to be bringing on John Kirby from JayhawkSlant and On 3. That's coming up on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
I'm Kenny Logan Jr. and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team JHX Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just a few weeks. Get your tickets now at tbthoops.com.
Welcome back into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Got to tell you about Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. If you're in the market for a new side-by-side ATV, tractor, mower, whatever that is, check out HeinenOPE.com. They have a store here in Lawrence, as also in Valley Falls as well. So check out HeinenOPE.com. Very pleased to be joined by an old friend, John Kirby from JayhawkSlant. Talk a little KU football. John, appreciate your time, man. Let's go ahead and start off here. Just Big 12 Media Days obviously went on, and you know, the biggest story was, hey, there's no quarterbacks because we don't know who the heck it's going to be right now, right? It's going to be Cole Ballard. Is it going to be Isaiah Marshall? Is Chase Jenkins going to be the guy? I guess give us your take in terms of this quarterback battle going on right now, because this is the first time we've seen a true quarterback battle since before JD was here.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's something, you know, I think people are still trying to get used to on our message board and the Kansas fan base that they forgot what a competition looks like. But I mean, Daniel, it really is one. I mean, you know, if you asked me if there was somebody to a gun in my head that you said, who's going to be the starter week 1, I would say from what I know right now, I would give the slightest of all edges right now to Cole Ballard. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, they've got 3 to 4 weeks to change that. And it can absolutely be changed if Isaiah Marshall comes in and looks real good in fall camp, or on the flip side, maybe Cole Ballard doesn't. It seems like Chase Jenkins, who would probably be the third guy in there, the transfer from Rice, you know, he was dinged up a little last in the spring ball with the hamstring injury. I do think he's caught up some this summer, because in the summer the coaches have a chance to work with the players, and it's a new rule they put in a couple years ago. So I think he's caught up, but I really think it's a two-man battle right now. Just what my gut tells me between Ballard and Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying too. Like 51% of me thinks it's going to be Ballard just because of the experience. But, you know, Isaiah Marshall shows some, you know, really high upside, obviously. And when you look at Marshall being implemented into the system with Andy Kotelnicki being back, let's talk a little bit about Andy Kotelnicki. Obviously took a little bit of a hiatus, went up to Penn State. Now he's back and be the play caller. Just how excited are you to see an Andy Kotelnicki style of offense once again, because we know how, you know, high powered and exciting and fireworks and everything with Andy Kotelnicki. Then you had Grimes, then you had Zabrowski, but Kotelnicki's going to be back and he's got a lot of tools to work with this time around.
Well, Daniel, when Andy was here the first time and you saw what he did in like 2022 and 2023, a lot of the quarterback run game and option, and by the way, Lubick, the tight ends coach, was one of the guys who came in back then as an analyst because he had experience with that and he helped them get that installed. So, I mean, So now you've got Kotelnicki, you've got Lubick on staff who came in and is like a third party who helped him out with that. You still got Zabrowski on staff. So a lot of that brain power, if you will, that was part of that creativity a couple years ago, they're all back together now. And I've always said this. I remember back watching Todd Reesing, and when Kansas decided they were going to go with a 4 wide offense, no signaling, hurry up. And I remember watching the transition from the spring to the summer, and it was unbelievable. You got to do something different because at Kansas, you're not going to be able to land a bunch of 4 and 5-star offensive linemen that are just going to line up and just blow guys off the ball, right? So you've got to kind of do some things that maybe equal the playing field. And I think with Kotelnicki, with all the shifting he does and the creativity and some of the plays we saw previously, I think it's going to be a good thing for these kids. Now, Trey Lathan said at the Big 12 Media Days, he said some of the formations they show he thought would be illegal in football, right? Because he's on the defense trying to go against the offense in practice. So I think when you go back and look at it, I think Andy is going to be a nice change up to get back in the program. And he's going to have to bring some creativity because, I'm not sure what it's going to look like up front.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got some transfers who come in. Connor Stroh could be nice. Nick Morrow, obviously Kason Carpenter, some big shoes to fill, obviously with Bryce Foster. But, you have faith in Calvin Clemens. You have faith in Amir Herring, right? Tavake Tuikilavatu is going to be back, but you are losing some guys up on the front end. Let's talk a little bit about the transfers, specifically at the skill position levels. Dylan Edwards, talk about a guy with an incredibly high upside, kind of the lightning to the thunder that is Yasin Willis in that backfield, that like 1-2 punch, very different styles of running backs, but very complementary of each other. Plus, you got some guys on the outside as well. Nick McMillan, Najee Cox comes in. Both those guys have been proven to be burners on the outside, high pointing those balls. What do you like out of these transfers at the skill position levels on the offense?
Yeah, I think they did a good job there. Also you've got Dupree out of Colorado State, who I know the staff liked him a lot. So, I think Dylan Edwards is maybe the X factor, because when we just talked about what Kotelnicki can do with all the shifts and the motions, I think Dylan Edwards gives you that guy. You can run him on jet sweeps and fake jet sweeps and line him up in the slot. He kind of gives you an extra factor that maybe they didn't have here in the last couple of years. I know Devin Neal was really good at catching the ball out of the backfield, but Dylan Edwards kind of gives you another dimension. I think they'll be okay at running back, and I think the additions at wide receiver were big, especially when you combine them with Pickett there, and hopefully Kubeka can stay healthy and factor as one of those 3 or 4 receivers. And Daniel, this is one of the biggest things with me right now is, what's this offense going to look like? So are they going to be in 12 personnel? Are we going to see, because remember, Andy Kotelnicki loves his tight ends.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with Kotelnicki, you may see 2 tight ends, sometimes maybe 3 on the field, because we've seen that with him in the past. So I think that's one of the things. Are we going to see a lot of 2 receiver look? Are we going to see maybe some 3 receiver formations? I just don't know that we're going to see 4, which we've seen 4 in the past, but I just don't know that that's what Andy's going to do.
Well, and Andy certainly loves his tight ends, like you said. I was talking to John Kirby right now, JayhawkSlant on 3, and you look at the tight end room. You have Leighton Kierback, who hasn't shown a lot, but he's shown flashes, here and there. Carson Brune, if he wasn't dinged up, I think he was going to be really, really good last year. And then you're bringing in 2 guys, Carter Moses from Albany, who has a really high upside, and then Jalen Butler is maybe the most interesting one to me, just because of the fact that played a lot of snaps at Old Dominion, but they just didn't throw him the dang ball, right? So what should we expect out of this tight end room, especially because we know going in that Andy Kotelnicki loves his tight ends?
Well, I think they're diverse, and I think they're going to have to be deep because, if somebody gets hurt, somebody's got to be ready to go, because if you are going to see a lot of 2 tight end looks, all 4 guys may have to play. I think Butler's the most interesting one. He's the guy that I've heard at the end of spring through the summer that maybe was one of the big surprises that anybody had. I heard he is a freak athletically. I heard he does a lot of things, and you didn't see that on film because, like you said, they didn't get the tight ends the ball much where he came from. So Butler's the guy that I think in that group that's going to surprise. Now, Brunn being back healthy is huge because he was the guy that was starting to come on that they were putting in last year until he got injured. So I think right now, if I had to go with two, I'd say Brunn and Butler would kind of be my guys at the top.
Okay. Yeah, certainly makes sense, right? I mean, Carson Bruin, I mean, what we saw out of him, the little pieces that we saw out of him, really liked him. And then, yeah, I think Jalen Butler's kind of a diamond in the rough where I think Kansas kind of maybe got somebody that they really like out of him. Kirby, let's go ahead and flip it over to the defensive side of the ball because, you look at this linebacker core with Trey Lathan coming back. I always refer to him kind of as the quarterback of the defense. You also brought in a ton of really nice transfers at the linebacker position. That was really something, a point of emphasis that they brought in with Bam Crouch, Quincy Davis, Jabril Alameen. I mean, kind of break down what you're seeing out of this defense so far and what you expect out of year 2 of DK McDonald.
Well, Daniel, we just talked about the tight ends. It's going to come down to what do they want to do formation, right? How many do they want to put on the field? Well, let's look at the linebackers. And I think it's easy. As fans, you go, okay, who's going to be your starting 3 linebackers? Well, I think we saw last year one of the biggest things from DK is 2 linebacker sets really started to become the thing, right? I mean, they were using a hawk or a nickel. And so I don't think we're going to see a 3 linebacker set. I think it's going to be in groups of 2. So right now at linebacker, I love Lathan. All right. And the guy that's really come on that surprised everybody was Quincy Davis. Yeah. So right now, if I had to say 2 guys that would be your early starters going into fall camp, I'd say Trey Lathan and Quincy Davis. And then I did hear that Bam Crouch has had a really good summer, and Jabril Alameen gives in some athletic ability, some speed that maybe they haven't had. I know that last year they had some speed, but it wasn't always great at finishing at the point of attack. So I think if you go 2 linebacker sets, 4 guys right there are very capable. And there's some young guys in the program, but when you bring all this experience in from the portal, it gives those young guys a chance to continue to develop and get stronger and learn the system. And you said something interesting right there at the end of your question. Year 2 under DK McDonald, I think it's a big deal because I think last year the system changed. I think they went with some 3-down looks. I think they changed formations, and I think it was new. So what you got to hope is going into this year, the players now kind of understand what those changes were, and year 2 gives you more familiarity with what they're asking in the scheme.
Yeah. Absolutely. John Kirby, JayhawkSlant, and On3 joins the show via Zoom. And, John, obviously in the off season, we love to talk hypotheticals, but I'm curious to know, because I've asked a lot of people this, ceiling and floor, I guess, when you're looking at this Jayhawk team, because there's so many question marks around, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that you are expecting to see, which is, Kotelnicki being great, DK McDonald year 2, you're hoping he makes the adjustments that they needed to make from last year where they can actually close out these games. Give me your ceiling and floor in terms of the record for this Kansas football team.
Oh, I'll tell you, there's some fluctuation here. And Daniel, over the last 10 days, I have interviewed, except one, I've interviewed a beat writer from every single one of KU's opponents. So okay. I've kind of been going over some of the schedules and going over the rosters, and I've been reading what these guys write, talking about their strengths and their weaknesses. And I'll tell you, it is so crazy because we all sit here going, what's KU going to look like, right? Well, I'm sitting here going, hey, you know what? I'm hearing from other people who cover teams going, we don't know what our team that we cover is going to look like. I mean, Missouri, I talked to their guys and, new quarterback. No, the running back was shot. They don't know if he's going to be back. Right. They lose their 4 starting defensive linemen. They lose a couple guys in the secondary. And all of a sudden at Missouri, they're going, well, we think there's talent, but there's some holes to fill. And I could go down, Utah and Oklahoma State are going through a coaching change. I mean, Oklahoma State's got 75 guys from the portal coming in. I mean, you could go down UCF. KU beat them in Central Florida last year. So when you look at this, I mean, can Kansas get to 6 wins? Absolutely. And 6 wins right now for KU is kind of that imaginary line that you draw and say, it's got to be 6 or above, because the last 2 seasons, you're talking back-to-back 5 and 7 years. And let's face it, and Lance Leipold will even tell you, it's a disappointment to the program. It's a disappointment to the fan base. Daniel, they had the lead in the last 2 years, they've had the lead in 9 games in the fourth quarter. Okay. Just think if they win one of those games in 1 year and one of them the other year, and they finish 6-6 both years, and KU would have been to 4 straight bowl games. How much does that change your perception of the program right now?
Right. 2 games. I mean that changes everything, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, when you look down this schedule, people always call me, and I'm sure it's because, hey, I got some buddies that like to gamble and play the over under, and they're like, "Hey, Kirby, where do you think we're going to be win wise?" I'm like, "Guys, I don't know. I have no idea." And Daniel, it's not because we don't know really much about KU and what to expect, but we don't know exactly what to expect from some of the teams that they're going to play.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did a opponent outlook, each day a couple of weeks ago, and I was rolling through and I was like, man, I don't know half of these guys, right? I mean, just in every single roster, you're just going like, well, yeah, they got this guy from here, and just who knows how everything is going to mesh. And Kansas is essentially the exact same way. So, yeah, I mean, I said absolute floor is 3 and then absolute ceiling is, 7 to 8. I'm an ultimate optimist. I can always talk myself into 12 wins, but I was trying to be more realistic there, obviously. But no, it is like, it's so hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what to expect. I mean, there's so many question marks surrounding it just because we haven't seen these guys out on a field yet. Kirby, I'm interested to know, because obviously this is a big story going around this offseason and heading into this season and next season. The new 5-5 rule that the NCAA is starting to implement is going to directly impact some guys on this KU football roster. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, if this is the right way to go, and if you think this is essentially putting the worms back in the can a little bit.
Well, if they can put the worms back in the can, that's the big thing, because every day you look up, there's a lawsuit being filed, right? I mean, so hopefully they can get it fixed. I do like it, because now you're just going, hey, you got 5 years, okay? This is it. You got 5 years. If you can play all 5 years, great. If you're hurt 2 of those 5 years, then you're out of luck, okay? Because we're giving you 5 years to get all your playing in. And they got to get away from the lawsuits, and they got to get away from guys wanting a 6th and 7th year of eligibilities. I mean, if they can just get to this 5-year rule, I think everything's cut and dry, and everybody knows where they stand going in.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And, it's, if you put in the rules, now granted, like you said, there's always going to be lawsuits and different things like that. And I think if some of these lawsuits get passed, it'll make essentially a mockery of the NCAA. But the NCAA needs to put their foot down and say, hey, no, I mean, I don't like the NCAA. I've been outwardly, opposed to a lot of the things they do. But this is one of the good things that they're actually trying to do, is like, all right, we're going to nip this in the bud and say, hey, 5 years, that's it. And, it's going to affect some guys positively. It's going to affect some guys negatively. But that's the way that these things kind of have to go. Kirby, one more thing for you. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Arizona State game that's going to be out in Wembley. First college football game ever played in London, at least at Wembley Stadium. Really exciting stuff for Kansas, but it's kind of in a weird spot. You're putting in week 3, and then you got to go non-con once again. It's counted as a conference game, and Kansas thought that we were going to get the week 0 game, and then turns out actually didn't do that. So your thoughts overall in terms of the experience and the opportunity that this gives Kansas, and then also, do you buy into the fact of the overseas curse, I guess, if you will? I mean, you look back at Florida State, Kansas State, Nebraska a couple of years ago. I mean, it feels like the overseas games that they played over in Ireland kind of were a precursor of how the season was going to go. Your I guess, thoughts on that?
Yeah, Daniel, I had Phil Steele on our podcast the other day, and he was talking about that as well. And weren't those games the very first game of the year for those teams?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when it's technically week 3, because you've already got a couple games under your belt. If that curse or what have you is still sitting there, I'll tell you this: I don't know that it's a curse if you can go over there and win, right? I mean, if you can go over there and win, and if Kansas can be 2-1, 3-0 coming out of that game, all of a sudden, maybe you got some momentum coming back and playing Middle Tennessee, and then you can push it to 3-1 or 4-0. So, I. Losing the home game, I know there's been a lot of fans, not happy with that. But I just heard yesterday that there's supposed to be a pretty strong group of KU people going out to this game. I've heard that there's going to be a lot more KU people at the game than Arizona State. Just little tidbit I heard yesterday.
All right.
So that'll be interesting to follow. But I think it just comes down to going out there and taking care of business and not letting it be a curse. I really didn't know this till I started looking at it, and Phil was on the podcast. But KU only has 3 Big 12 games at home. That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, and 6 on the road. So, I mean, in the end, would you love to have that game at home? Yeah, but I also think that, there's probably some financial things in there that helps the athletic department in what they're trying to navigate now with the new revenue share and NIL world going on. So, hey, I don't blame the athletic department for going out and taking advantage if they can put some money in their pocket.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And if you're going to give away a home game, I mean, this is the year to do it, right? Obviously, when the stadium is under construction,
Absolutely.
you're going to have limited capacity. John, I wanted to ask you, I think I asked you this maybe a couple years ago on the old show, but me growing up as a Kansas fan, and you obviously covering Kansas for as long as you have, I mean, just seeing the new booth and seeing all the resources and the investment being put into the football program, is this something that you would have ever imagined maybe in your lifetime? Because honestly, it was something that I never even imagined in my lifetime. Just kind of give us your thoughts on how incredible it is that the stadium is actually coming together and it's feasible, and you can see the work being put in and making this incredible thing that's honestly a lot better than the old Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, it's just not the stadium. It's everything that's come with it, right? When you talk to guys and they come on campus, recruits, and I talk to them, and hey, what caught your attention? You'd be amazed how many of them say, "Man, the area where the players eat is amazing. They've got their own chef and they've got this room." I mean, some of the things. I mean, we all look at the stadium, right? The seating and the brand new stadium. But there's the new weight room that came in with it. There's a lot of other things that were renovated as well. I remember covering Mark Mangino's program, okay? And I remember the weight room, Daniel, was so bad back then. They wouldn't show recruits the weight room unless they asked to see it. Okay. So
wow.
that's how long this has come. But I remember back when Mangino was there and after that, people were like, when's the stadium going to get upgraded? When's it going to get built? I mean, KU fans have been asking for upgrades and new stadium for decades. Yeah. So Travis Goff finally got it done. And hey, listen, I know it's not at the greatest time as these guys have to fight revenue share and NIL, but it needed to be done. So, I mean, I think it's been great. Hey, Daniel, they stuck us in the end zone, but I can live with that.
Right.
Hey, they kicked us pressed to the end zone, but having that new stadium is been great. And yeah. I do think it also benefits hearing the recruits and their parents talk about how nice it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, actually, when West Virginia was in town, they had me do spotting for the West Virginia play-by-play, and I couldn't figure out how many yards they were getting because the angle was so weird. But hey, that's one of those things where that's a first world problem. My steak's too juicy, my lobster's too buttery. It's like,
you get used to it. I remember sitting at the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, sitting in the end zone watching that game, and the UNLV band was right under us, and it was like, oh no. So once you get in there and sit where we do, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching football at the end of the day. John Kirby, JayhawkSlant on 3. Really appreciate your time, man. We will catch up sooner than later. I mean, fall camp just around the corner.
Absolutely. Thanks, Daniel.
All right, thanks, John. Hey, we got more Rock Chalk Sports on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com after this.
Hey, Kansas fans, Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Mowing doesn't have to be a pain. Ferris has your back with mowers built for unmatched comfort, durability, and quality of cut. This month feels like summer savings at Heiner Repair and Heiner Outdoor Power Equipment. Save up to $1,350 and get 0% financing with approved credit. Available on select Ferris zero-turn, stand-on, and walk-behind mowers. See them for details at Heiner Repair south of Valley Falls and Heiner Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Offers end July 31st.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, thinking, bold.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team JHX Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just a few weeks. Get your tickets now at tbthoops.com.
Welcome back into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Big shout out to John Kirby from JayhawkSlant and On3 for joining via Zoom. Last segment, got to tell you about Meritrust Credit Union. You know the feeling. The Fieldhouse gets loud, the chance starts low, and the Jayhawks bring the energy. That's Lawrence. Meritrust Credit Union thinks your money deserves that same feeling. A team in your corner that's pulling for you, win or lose, season after season. Financial well-being isn't just something that they offer. It's why they exist. First car, first home, first business, whatever is next in your money story, they're right around the corner at 6th and Wakarusa in West Lawrence. Real people making real decisions locally. That's Meritrust Credit Union, the official well-being partner, the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Stop by their branch or visit meritrust.org, federally insured by the NCUA. Joined right next to me, sitting at the desk is it the first time you're sitting at the desk?
First time at the desk.
Oh, first time at the desk. He's graduated, folks. It's Jack Ritter from Fog.net, 24/7 Sports. Thanks so much for joining me, man. You are dressed like a golfer. I love that. Good for you. You came in, he had a golf tee in his mouth. It's a good look for you. I like it.
I was at Lawrence Country Club this morning. That's where I have a little hourly job, make some money on the side. Shout out Pete and Nate. My bosses over there.
Shout out Pete and Nate.
I let them know that I was coming on the show today, and they were like, "Oh man, you got to say this and this and this." So
oh, man.
I might sneak some things in throughout the show.
Make sure it's FCC regulated, I guess. But yeah, you can fit in whatever, man. Jack, wanted to start off here. Obviously, it's the slow season right now, but coming off of the back of KU baseball, one of the best seasons that they've had in honestly program history. A few guys got drafted as well. We saw Tyson LeBlanc go in the second round. Not a lot of people really saw that coming. I saw more like third, fourth round, but he winds up going 61st overall to the Detroit Tigers. You also had Dominic Vegley get drafted by the Orioles, Matisse Nayrol by the Blue Jays, and then you also had Brady Ballinger, too, by the Detroit Tigers as well. Talk to me about those guys, the illustrious careers that they had, and just how excited you are to see them at the next level.
I don't think I could encapsulate the impact that especially Ballinger and Vegley and LeBlanc had on this program. No disrespect to Matisse, but Ballinger, he didn't have to come back and play another year at KU. He could have been drafted last year, but he decided to stick around and stay at KU, and he did. And it might not have been as statistically as great of a season as he had a year ago, but what an impact over his time at KU, and what a personality as well.
Oh, I know,
A fun guy. I'm super happy for him. I had the chance to hang out with him a little bit the day he got drafted, actually,
that's awesome.
Through some mutual friends, and it was awesome to celebrate him, and just super happy for the guy. For Vegley and Tyson, I believe it was the highest that two Jayhawks have ever been selected in the MLB draft.
Okay.
I know Tyson was for sure.
Tyson was the highest drafted, I think, position player.
There
was a pitcher back in 1990, I think, that won like 46 or something.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
But certainly the highest two players drafted in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so that's just another accolade that you can pin onto their Kansas banner or their letter. What awesome impacts that both those guys had. Tyson LeBlanc delivered so many electric moments just in one season with KU. I think about that, the regional, the first regional in Lawrence in a while, and it was so amazing to watch that all play out and to see Tyson hit, a few homers over the course of that weekend that really lit up the crowd. And Dom Vagley, enough said for that guy. I couldn't go on and on about the multiple years he spent being a starter at KU, being a high-impact player at KU, delivering as many as 15 strikeouts in multiple games just this season.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. And so happy. Cheers to those guys. Congratulations and good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to follow their careers. Hopefully they have long, illustrious careers at the professional level. But wanted to talk to you about KU baseball for this next year. Obviously, got a lot of guys coming back, which is weird to say, but it's new territory for Dan Fitzgerald, right? I mean, you got Dylan Schlotterback said that he's running it back. Manning West, Cade Baldridge, Augusto Mungarieta. You got Bodie Ray. Ryan Ritter is going to be coming back. I mean, you have a majority of your infield coming back as well as some really nice pitchers. And Bodie Ray is so interesting to me because he can start if he wants to, and I'm probably looking at him being one of those Friday, Saturday guys, even though he was utilized as a reliever. He did start some games this year. But just talk to me about this kind of weird new territory that Dan Fitzgerald is in, because we constantly talk about, Dan Fitzgerald's so good at bringing in guys from the JUCO ranks and the Division II and the NAIAs and finding these diamonds in the rough and the roster turnover and, meshing them all together. Now you have a little bit of, continuity, I guess, from last year, which is the best year in Kansas baseball history, to this upcoming year.
Yeah, and you have a lot of returning production. You look at Augie and his numbers, I think, got a little underrated down the stretch.
Yeah.
And people didn't talk about his impact as much as his numbers show that he had an impact over the course of the year. How many home runs did he finish with? 15 plus? 16?
Yeah, I think it was 16 or 17.
16 or 17. I mean, he must have been number 2 right behind.
Yeah. Nobody was talking about it because Tyson LeBlanc goes throwing 25.
Right, and his 17 homers in the season is still pretty dang good.
I know, yeah.
So you have Augie. You also have Tyson Owens.
That's right.
Who I believe the lone outfielder that is returning. And Tyson is going to be one of those players. He's probably going to be pretty early in the rotation, if I had to guess. I'm not inside Dan Fitzgerald's mind, but
sure.
He's going to be a high-producing player, and he certainly had some great games. That Houston game sticks out in my mind. The K-State weekend sticks out in my mind when I think about Tyson Owens and what he might bring next year. Cade Baldridge, huge that he didn't get drafted. I mean, you saw the impact that.
Yeah. Sorry he didn't get drafted, but also it's good for us.
Right. Yes. This is, as the selfish KU fan states, good for us.
Yeah.
Not calling you that. I'm just saying in general.
No, I'm a selfish KU fan. I will be the first one to tell you that.
Sure. And so you're right. There is so much returning production. There are so many returning leaders, I think, on this team, especially when you think about the guys who are gone or graduated. You're losing some of the leadership maybe in that team when you look at a Dom or a Jordan or maybe even a Brady, who knows. But you've got some of those good returning faces who are going to contribute in the locker room, but also on the field. When it comes to pitching, I think they've got a really nice rotation for the upcoming year. Like you said, Ritter could be a starter. Cookie is back. Mason Cook.
Yeah.
Most people call him Cookie.
Oh, yeah.
So Ritter, great last name.
Yeah, of course. No relation, by the way.
No relation, as far as we know.
Yeah. Do a little 23andMe.
Somewhere up the tree, probably.
Yeah, you never know.
Somewhere. But anyways, you've got Ritter. You've got Cookie. You've got West, who knows about West? He could end up being a starter. He's going to be a really great rotation piece if he's not a starter, or maybe even a closer for them. And then, of course, the crown jewel probably of the returners is Bodie. One of those players you probably were expecting to hear in the MLB draft. Just didn't go his way, but I'm sure he's excited to return. I'm sure he's excited to maybe be a starter or continue what he did really, really well down the stretch, and that's just close out games.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Ritter, 24/7 Sports, fog.net, joins the show. And, Jack, let's flip it over to football because it's going to be here before we know it, man.
That's
Fall
right.
camp right around the corner.
So close.
I mean, it's here. We can taste it almost. Wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, Big 12 Media Days was down in Frisco, Texas. The Monster Energy Big 12 Media Days. Sorry to the sponsors out there. But what did you hear out of some of those guys? Because you had, some really talented players. Obviously, Leroy Harris came up from last year and really was one of the biggest surprises. I think he had two massive surprises from last year at Big 12 Media Days with Blake Harreld and Leroy Harris, both guys on that defensive line. Cam Pickett was down there as well. Trey Lathan. I mean, you had a number of different guys. Just give us kind of what you had heard at Big 12 Media Days. Anything stick out to you?
I don't think we heard a lot of new things from this team. I think it was a lot of the things that we heard in the spring, and we were just kind of going over a little bit of those things. When it came to talking to Lance, I was interested to hear about his thoughts at the running back position and the linebacker position. When it comes to running backs, I really do think they're going to have a pretty solid 1-2 punch when it comes to Dylan
Thunder and
Edwards.
Lightning. That's what I keep on calling him.
That's a good nickname. I like that. Dylan Edwards and Yassine Willis. You've got the elusive, speedy back in Edwards, and then you've got the power back in Yassine, a guy who's, 220 pounds, 6'1".
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Built like a Mack truck.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to those early downs and Kotelnicki is scheming, Edwards out into open field or something like that, they'll pick up a few yards there. But when it's late downs, Yassine Willis is going to be the guy with the rock in his hand, probably powering through a number of defensive linemen for other teams. At least KU hopes so. You have a few other players in that running back room that could maybe make an impact, like maybe a Justin Thurman, and I'm going to butcher his last name, or maybe the true freshman Corey
Amakari, yeah.
Yeah, Amakari. I didn't know if it was Amakari or Amarchi.
Yeah.
My apologies there. But who knows? Maybe some of those younger guys could make a real impact and provide some rotational snaps. The good thing for KU fans is that they are not going, as long as there's no injuries or chaotic things that pop up over the course of the season, which they could, but they're not going to need as many rotational snaps behind those two guys, especially when you have serviceable running quarterback snaps that you can also throw in there from an Isaiah or potentially a Cole Ballard, et cetera. And then linebacker too. I think this might be one of the better linebacking seasons we have in the Leipold era coming up here, at least thus far. Obviously, Trey Lathan is back, and it was really good to see him at Big 12 Football Media Days, brought to you by Monster Energy.
Of course.
What a year he had last year. And he accomplished so much, and he played so much. I was looking at his snap count, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but he led KU football's defense in snaps last year.
That's crazy.
And just played so much. I think he played at least 150 more snaps than any other linebacker.
I believe it, yeah.
And Bengali Kamara was a little bit banged up over some games in the season, so that's how some things go. But him next to a Bam Crouch or a Quincy Davis, who really, really had a good spring. I'm interested to see what happens this fall camp. With how they decide who that number 2 guy is right next to Trey Lathan, or what they do to experiment. But between Bam Crouch, who has a ton of experience at his previous stop, Boston College, and Quincy, who played not as much, but played some really, really nice rotational football at linebacker for New Mexico State, I believe. Between that, I think they've got 3 really, really good linebackers in that room ready to contribute. Lathan certainly much so.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear from those guys. Blake Harreld and Leroy Harris were fun to talk to as well. I have a soft spot for Calvin Clements.
Of course.
Being a Lawrence native and
Well, but he went to Free State. You went to Lawrence High.
Yes.
You should hate him, right?
No. Calvin and I actually went to preschool together.
Oh, okay.
So we go way back before the high school ties. But it was good to talk to all those guys. Leroy Harris, certainly a guy I'm expecting to step up this year. He had a great year, but it's time to really lean into that massive frame that he's got, and should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Ritter, 247sportsfog.net. You brought it up. Quarterback battle is the biggest thing, and we've asked you about it before, and we're probably going to ask you about it again, even before the season starts. The way that I look at this, it depends on like how I wake up in the morning and like how much coffee I've had in terms of like who the starter is going to be. I tend to lean like 51% Cole Ballard because of the experience and because of things that we've heard that he's like a true leader and guys start to rally behind him. But then you have Isaiah Marshall right behind him, who, I mean, they've been battling it out. Probably not going to know until September 3rd, maybe even September 4th. Like they're going to probably work both of them in during that Long Island game. But has your thoughts changed at all surrounding the quarterback battle? Is Chase Jenkins getting more into the race? I mean, what are you seeing from this quarterback battle right now that maybe nobody else is seeing?
Yeah, honestly, I think when we get that week 1 depth chart, the first or on the page might be
quarterback
right at quarterback, just so they don't give away anything. And maybe that is a little bit part of it. I think you're right, though, and I've always said when I've been on here, I am certainly leaning in Cole Ballard's direction.
Sure.
When I think about this staff and what they're looking for, I think about the other position battles that have taken place over the courses of fall camps or springs, etc. And they look for that experience piece. When they named Calvin Clemens, just because he's fresh on my mind, the guy at left tackle in spring, long before he ended up starting that Fresno State game, he was called the guy after he played starting snaps against, oh my gosh, how am I blanking on this? UNLV in the, oh my goodness, I'm going crazy right now. Guaranteed Rate Bowl.
Yeah.
And he also played some rotational snaps, so his experience was paramount to them when they were looking for who they were going to name their starting left tackle. There also weren't a lot of other names there, so that played into it. But when I look at other position battles that have taken course over the Leipold era, experience is so paramount to them. And I'm just not sure that Marshall has as much experience throwing the ball in game as Ballard has.
Right.
Obviously, Ballard doesn't have that much.
Isaiah Marshall had, 3 attempts last year?
Something
in the
like
Wagner
that.
game? Yeah.
Right. It wasn't much, and it was against Wagner, and you do have to take that into account, is that Ballard actually threw passes against some of those Big 12 teams that he had
you
to
look
go
even like
against.
his freshman year, like K-State, Texas Tech. I mean, he has the experience under his belt and kind of being thrown to the wolves. So
we'll see how it plays out. Again, I think they'll value leadership and experience, and I think Cole is just a little bit further ahead in both of those areas. But anything could happen. Marshall could come out the gate absolutely swinging this fall camp. What I will be able to say is that they're going to get even snaps all the way through. When we go to practice as beat journalists or as anybody else, we're taking pictures of, okay, who are the 11 guys going out here for this first set of the defensive drill, or who's going out for the offensive line over there in the corner. And that kind of gives us...
That defensive pursuit drill is always fun.
Right.
Yeah, it's always great because you're like, oh, I saw it for a second.
Exactly. And so it gives us... That might give us some perspective, but I guarantee you on Tuesday it's going to be Ballard, and on Thursday it's going to be Marshall.
Yeah.
At least when we see it. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, certainly we'll see. Jack, wanted to bend your ear a little bit about some of the former Jayhawks of old playing in the NBA Summer League. You had Trey White playing with the Miami Heat. He really showed out, and talk about a guy who is kind of in a perfect situation because the Miami Heat got rid of all their guards, and now they have a really good front court, and they need a 6'7" wing, and guess who's a 6'7" wing who's been playing good? It's been Trey White. Melvin Council also got some run as well. Zeke Mayo for the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, talk to me about do you think there is a true reality where these guys find their ways onto an NBA roster?
Definitely for Trey, and I'm glad you mentioned how Miami's roster is right now. of all the guys in the summer league right now, he's definitely in the best situation.
Yeah.
They don't have many guards, like you said, and they need a 3-and-D guy. Can Trey White provide the D? And can he provide efficient shooting? He showed in the summer league that he could efficiently shoot. I don't know what the efficiency came out to. Maybe you have it down, but he had a fairly efficient few games there from deep, and I want to say he averaged north of 17 points per game in the summer league.
I think you're right. He shot over, I think it was like 40% from the 3-point line, I think.
So, and he had a long season at Kansas, and it might have kind of worn him out down the stretch. And a lot of teams were getting to him in places, and I think also he wasn't getting the whistle that he got at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that impacted him down the stretch. But Trey White was a great player for KU this last year.
Yeah.
He was one of their most constant guys when it came to what he would provide game to game. He was consistent. So can he be consistent with his shooting? Can he be consistent with his rebounding? And can he show some pop on defense? That's what I'm looking for. I think in the summer league, he did show he could do those things, but the summer league and the actual NBA are fathoms apart.
Yeah. Very, very, very
we'll
different.
see.
Yeah.
When it comes to those other guys, I'm not sure Zeke Mayo had maybe the summer league that he wanted to have. I think his shooting efficiency was a little under. But, he made some waves with the Cavs, playing some practice stuff and doing some G League stuff for them last year. So we'll see how it plays out with him, and I'm sure we'll bring it up, but he's also showing off his shooting chops a little bit at the TBT currently.
Right.
Hunter Dickinson also had a pretty underratedly good summer league, and so I think out of the former Jayhawks who played in the summer league, I would say Trey White, Hunter Dickinson had the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Hunter Dickinson, you talk about, situations, they have Derek Queen with the Pelicans. So no clear path for him to be really that starter, but, he's on a two-way right now. Could potentially do it. I have two more questions for you. I'll since you brought it up, I'll bring up the basketball tournament.
Sure.
Because I was out there at Lee Arena. It was my personal hell because I hate Washburn. Stingers up. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this because for me, there was a moment in the game where I put down my phone, I stopped everything, and I just kind of soaked it in the fact that Mario Chalmers and Frank Mason were on the same court together wearing crimson and blue. Just how cool is it? Because, we talk about the basketball tournament and we're like, oh, it's whatever. And they disappointed year after year. But at the same time, it is a cool thing where, you have Sherron as the head coach, Tyshawn as assistant coach, right? You have all these different eras of KU basketball players kind of meshing into one. Growing up a KU fan, just how interesting is it to see, actually, because you could talk hypotheticals all you want, but then you're like, oh, wow, there is Mario and Frank. And, Jamari Traylor, these guys are, right next to each other playing basketball.
It's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm smiling that you brought that up because in the group of people that I was watching the game with last night, they were saying the same thing. I'm 90% sure my buddy Evan sat there and said, man, did you think we'd ever see Frank Mason and Mario Chalmers sharing the court? So, it's one of those wonderful things to watch. My personal perspective, who cares if they win or lose?
Sure.
It's fun to watch.
It is. Well, there's $2 million at hand, too.
Right. And for those players, I'm sure that competitive aspect is really real. But I think for a lot of fans, it's more so let's go out and just kind of reminisce a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's watch some of those guys that we loved watching years or many years ago and just watch them hoop because it's been a while since we've seen it.
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug, man.
Yes. And it works. It works every time. And so I think that's what the TBT really sells is a fun, nostalgic experience.
Yeah.
You get to see a lot of guys play. You get to see Zeke and Mario share the court with each other. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever see this.
Plus, you get to see Michael Beasley just be an absolute psycho. What a maniac that guy is.
Yeah, he's had an interesting couple days. I'll be interesting to see what fireworks pop off tonight.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. Jack, wanted to get your thoughts on this. This is the first time I think I've ever done this. I'm bringing a mailbag question from yesterday as a question that I wanted to ask you because it was so good. Shout out to KU Najee, by the way. Asked this question. He asked a question yesterday, and me and Henry had a great conversation about it. The question was, would you rather see a fully healthy Darren Peterson or a fully healthy Jalen Daniels for their careers at Kansas? Isn't that a good question?
That's a great question. KU Najee, well done.
Shout out.
Avid watcher of Kansas Nation.
Yeah, loyal listener.
Yes. Man, that is a great question. What did you say yesterday?
I initially said Jalen.
Yeah.
And so did Henry. Like right away, we're like, all right, Jalen Daniels, you're talking about the whole career as opposed to Darren with 1 year, right? And you go Jalen, but then also if he's fully healthy for that 23 year or at least 24 year, like the spring heading in, he probably has a better start.
Yeah.
He probably goes pro, right? So you probably don't get him for 25, right? Or does he transfer? Like, I mean, there are those questions surrounding it too. And, you know, I think if he has a fully healthy spring of 24, I think, like I said, he gets a way better start whenever they're playing in Sporting KC and Arrowhead Stadium, right? As opposed to the back half where he was just incredible because it took him a while to get his feet under him.
Yeah.
But then you don't have the story, which is one of my favorite stories in all of sports, maybe, is Jason Bean. You know, the redemption arc, right? Obviously, the throwing the ball away in the Liberty Bowl in 22. Then you don't get the redemption arc of him coming back and then leading Kansas to 9 wins and then winning the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I mean, I think that's one of the best stories. But then I started leaning towards Darren Peterson afterwards because I'm like, all right, like Big 12 Player of the Year, All-American, right? I mean, the ceiling for that KU team, if Darren Peterson was fully healthy, you're probably going to a Final Four. But then we started to think, well, maybe Trey White and Melvin Council don't have the balls in their hands as much, so they're not as good potentially as. So I'm interested to know your thoughts on, like, what would you have, like, and you could answer this selfishly. What would you have rather have seen over the course of both of their careers?
Okay.
One of them's longer, one of them's shorter, so it's, you know.
I'll answer in a couple ways. Wonderful question. I'm actually, like,
It
wonderful,
is.
wonderful question.
It's a good
I love
question.
it. So the things that I'm thinking about is not only the ceiling of what the teams would be like if they're healthy, but the likelihood to hit those ceilings if they're healthy. I think this likelihood that Jalen being healthy results in a better KU football season is higher than a healthy Darren Peterson results in a better Kansas basketball season.
Sure.
So
I guess Darren was technically healthy for the back stretch.
Right.
So.
This is true. What if Jalen was fully healthy for all of 2022? That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like, he goes down in that TCU game and you don't see him again for months.
Right.
Until the Liberty Bowl.
Right.
Man, they could have tacked on a few more wins, and you probably get a win against Kansas State at the booth in the last year.
Oh, man. Yeah.
At the booth, as it was.
Yeah.
In year 3 of Leipold. I mean, holy cow. Now, like you said, there's so many other dominoes that fall when you say these ifs. And so I'm going to ignore those because if Jalen Daniels is healthy, does KU beat Oklahoma in 23?
Right.
Like, so those questions pop up. But if Jalen was healthy in 22, they probably beat K-State. They probably end up winning. Oh my gosh, I don't know, but they would have won a few more games.
Yeah,
and they ended that
you're
year
probably
at,
looking
6 and
at
7. You're looking at a better bowl game.
You're looking at a better bowl game. You're probably looking at maybe 3 or 4 bowl games in a row if he's fully healthy.
All
and
through
never
and stayed all of those seasons.
Yeah,
and you brought up 2024 spring. I think you're totally right. He would have had a way better year if he had his feet under him.
Yeah.
Because I can't even tell you how many times that they would bring that up and just say, well, we wish Jalen was here for longer. But also, that 2014 was, they had a few other problems, I think, around. So I'm going to say Jalen Daniels.
Okay.
For all of those reasons. And I'm also just going to say, I think what you said about KU basketball was right. If Darren is fully healthy throughout the entire year, he has a national player campaign, and it's one of the most fun things to watch, period.
Yeah. But Trey White probably doesn't shoot 40% from three.
No.
Melvin Council doesn't take over games.
No. Melvin Council doesn't get the chance to shoot 20 shots against Arizona, including a late game floater that sealed the game.
That's right.
Not sealed, but pretty much gave him the winning score, the winning lead, something like that. He doesn't get those chances earlier in the shot clock. And when you look at Melvin's shooting numbers, somebody brought this up on Twitter the other day. Whoever it was, take credit for this. Melvin was a lot better shooting in like the 10 to 30 second range of the shot clock than he was in the 10 to 0 second range of the shot clock. And he is taking a lot less 30 second to 10 second shots if Darren is fully healthy, because Darren's just getting the ball all the time. So Melvin isn't as sensational, which I think was one of the most fun parts about that season. Trey White probably doesn't have the rock in his hands as much. But who knows? So, and I don't know if they really would have gotten by
St. John's, maybe.
Who did St. John's end up playing in that next game?
Was it Duke?
Duke?
Yeah, it was Duke. Yeah, okay. Hey, they almost lost to Siena.
Right. Almost. That's because they were probably looking a little bit ahead.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if Kansas has a Final Four year. And the seed line's better.
That's true.
Probably.
Also, yeah.
But there are too many. I think there's too many question marks when you say if Darren is healthy, because the dominoes that fall are so much more impacted than if Jalen is healthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I would take Jalen just because for the betterment of KU, they would have beaten K-State and snapped that streak in 23.
That's right.
If he played in that game.
Okay.
I'm convinced.
All right. You know what? You've talked me into it. Yeah. I'm going Jalen again. I was at Jalen, and then I'm at Darren, now I'm at Jalen.
Henry, I hope you're watching this.
I think both of us wound up saying Darren, but you've talked me into it. Jack Ritter, Fog.net, 24/7 Sports. Thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it. We'll catch up soon.
Hey, happy to be on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, we got some TBT post game going on after this on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.
I'm Tate Baldridge, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Crossport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn, you want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
Welcome back into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Big shout out to Jack Ritter for joining the show. Fog.net 24/7 Sports. Hey, with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card. It's a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As a proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. You can learn more about Jayhawk checking and the exclusive Jayhawk debit card at JayhawkChecking.com. That's JayhawkChecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. I'm going to wave the week. Sean's not here. Wave the week. Hey, got a chance to hear from a couple of TBT guys after the game. I got a chance to catch up with Zeke Mayo. Talked a little bit about his game and how he started off a little slow, but then figured it out late and hit some big-time shots. So here's my conversation with Zeke Mayo. Postgame here with Zeke Mayo. JayhawX Hoops takes down Purple Rain 84-80. Zeke, you didn't see a lot of them go through at the beginning, but then you picked it up there at the end, hit a couple of big-time shots. What were you seeing out there?
I mean, honestly, it was just confidence, just continuing to shoot. That's what a scorer's mentality is. Didn't really let the misses affect me that much. Obviously, it sucks to see him, rim out like that, but I continue to shoot, and eventually the big shot in the corner was the one that meant the most out there to me. So I'm just going to continue to shoot and trust my game.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming from a Lawrence kid, I mean, I grew up around the area. It's so cool for me to see, like, Frank Mason and Mario out there. I mean, how cool is it for you, obviously, growing up, being a fan, and actually being on the court, sharing it with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I watch Frank, I watch Mario, like you said, I watch Ty, I watch Sherron. So to just learn from these guys and get an opportunity to share a court with them is truly a blessing. I mean, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be out here and fight for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you describe Sherron Collins' coaching style? I guess is it similar to Bill Self at all, or a little bit different?
No, it's definitely different. And I'm not saying that in a bad way because they both have their own coaching styles, obviously. But Sherron's a guy that he's going to continue to build you up. He's not going to shoot you down or anything, and Bill doesn't do that at all. He's gonna get on your tail, but it's not like he's doing it to hurt your feelings. He wants to see you succeed, and both coaches have done a great job of just mentoring me, honestly.
Yeah. Do you have a chip on your shoulder, I guess, from game one going back into Bramlage in that hostile environment?
I don't know if there's a chip on the shoulder. There's a lot of motivation, a lot of emotion behind this, obviously, but. This is the biggest rivalry in Kansas history, so obviously to go back to Bramlage for Game 3 is going to mean a lot more.
Congratulations on the win tonight, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was my conversation with Zeke Mayo after JayhawX Hoops takes down Purple Rain 84-80. Zeke Mayo had 15 points, 3 for 9 from the three-point line, 6 for 15 from the field. Really nice, really athletic, and that's exactly the kind of guy that you want on that JayhawX Hoops squad. They take on Purple Rain on Friday out in Bramlage. Also got a chance to catch up with Billy Preston after the game. Actually, our own Jimmy Kaufman got a chance to catch up with Billy Preston after the game. Let's hear that conversation right now.
Pleased to be joined by Billy Preston once again for JHX Hoops. Billy, 15 points on the bench yesterday, turns into 18 points as a starter today. How did it feel to be in the starting lineup?
It felt better. I felt like more of myself going into this game. Most teams I'm on, I start. So yesterday, I didn't feel no type of way about it. I still came in with just to bring high energy. I came on this trip late to play with KU this year. So they weren't sure if I was going to play or not, so I understood why they have certain starters out for yesterday's game. But due to certain injuries and people getting hurt yesterday, next man up, and I was the next man off the bench. So I felt good. I comfortable, just played my game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was easy to feel comfortable in such a good home crowd. How did the fans being here for KU help and get the team morale up?
Oh, it was way better. It was way better. The energy just in the arena was we knew it was on our side, so that helped tremendously. And we're going to need that same energy Friday and back in Manhattan for sure.
Yeah, and you're going to be back in that Manhattan crowd, tough K-State fan base. How are you going to carry the momentum from today into Friday?
Oh, man, just going to the game with the same game plan we had today. After taking a loss yesterday, we had a plan as a group, as a team, and we stuck to it, and we executed it. So same mindset going into Friday.
Absolutely. Billy Preston, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
That was Jimmy Kaufman's talk with Billy Preston after the game. Billy Preston winds up with 18 points in this one, 7 for 14 from the field, and 9 rebounds, almost a double-double for Billy P. Billy Preston, by the way, not the piano player, the fifth Beatle, as people like to refer to him. Not that Billy Preston, the other Billy Preston, who almost played for Kansas way back in the day. Hey, got a chance to talk to JayHawks Hoops assistant coach Tyshawn Taylor after the game. Talked a little adjustments and what we can expect to see out of JayHawks Hoops in Game 3 out in Bramlage on Friday. Let's hear my conversation with Tyshawn. All right, here post game with Tyshawn Taylor, 84-80 victory. JayHawks Hoops takes down Purple Rain. Tyshawn, what were the adjustments that you saw from Game 1 compared to this one?
Well, the first and most important thing is the energy that we play with, the intensity we play with. We started the game all high energy, high intensity, and that kind of changed. I think last night we kind of sat back and let them be the aggressor. So that was the first thing. We took care of the ball better. Also, we didn't have as many turnovers. I think we finished the game with 13 opposed to 26 or something like that yesterday. So that also changed the thing. Fast break points. There's a lot of adjustments. We watched tape. I watched the tape 3 times, and then I talked to them guys about it twice. It was a lot of adjustments to make. We didn't have high energy. Weren't helping on defense. Standing on offense, like it was so many empty possessions yesterday. And with that being said, we were down 8 to 12 to 14 the whole game. Like so many opportunities to crack that, and did it because we just didn't have the right mindset. Today we did.
100%. And Frank Mason, I mean, what a redemption, right? I mean, he goes 3 for 11 yesterday, 10 points. I mean, that's a pretty good outing,
yeah,
but you look
turnovers.
at what 7 turnovers.
More
so
than anything, I don't care how you shoot it, but the 7 turnovers hurt us.
Yeah, but you look at what he did today. I mean, calling his shot at the end of the game. I mean, missed that first one with the putback, and then obviously, I mean, just down the stretch in that Elam ending. What did you see out of him?
No, just pure aggression, pure hunger, pure like want to. Like I'm gonna win the game for us. I'm gonna win the game for us. He locked in, and that was it. Go set a high screen for Frank and get out the way, and he makes the play, and he did.
What can we see out of JayHawks Hoops in Bramlage on Friday?
Same thing, man. Just high energy. We're going to try not to get down 15 or 16 because for whatever reason, even when we beat them last year, we were in the fourth quarter down 12 or 13. So we're going to try to not get down 14 or 15 points, either play with a lead or play with the game really close and just have high energy. We're going to take care of the basketball. We're going to move the basketball. We're going to move our bodies on offense and defense. We're going to fly around. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to do all the things that you see in here tonight in spurts for a full game.
Thanks, Tyshawn.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
That was my conversation with JayHawks Hoops assistant coach Tyshawn Taylor, also a colleague of ours, Tyshawn Taylor. JayHawks Hoops, they take on Purple Rain on Friday. Should be a ton of fun. They take down Purple Rain 84-80 in the Elam ending. They come back. They entered the Elam ending down 8. So really impressive stuff there by JayHawks Hoops. Hey, after this, going to be doing a Chiefs opponent outlook. That's going to be the Chargers after the bye week in Week 5. So, yeah, be sure to stick around for that on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.
Hi, my name is Augusto Mungarrieta from Kansas Baseball, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
If you want to save a bunch on professional mowers, you better hustle to the Hustler Pro Sales event at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. Save up to 20% off the regular price of select new Hustler commercial mowers, and 0% financing is available with approved credit. Hustler Fleet Program members can save even more. Offers in July 31st. See them for complete details at Heinen Repair south of Valley Falls and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. you can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team JHX Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just a few weeks. Get your tickets now at tbthoops.com.
Welcome back into the last segment here of Rock Chalk Sports on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Got to tell you about custom lawn and landscape. Spring and summer, they're made for backyard fun. If you're like me, you got dogs chasing tennis balls in the backyard. Every once in a while, they'll come in and they have fleas and ticks on them. I have flea and tick medicine, but I mean, that's going to ruin your outside fun. Nothing ruins outside fun more than fleas, ticks, and chiggers. And that's why families trust Custom Lawn Landscape to help keep their lawns beautiful and protected all season long. Their home insect control program helps defend your yard from those pesky bugs so your pets and loved ones can enjoy the outdoors more comfortably and safely. And right now, when you sign up, your first application is free. That's right. Your first application is 100% free when you sign up for the season. It's a simple way to take back your backyard this summer. You can visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your first free application with a seasonal insect control program. Custom Lawn and Landscape, helping you love your lawn without the bugs. Hey, wanted to touch on this as of right now. A little K basketball stuff. Jeff Goodman gave an off-season grade. He gave like a B to Kansas, even though Kansas has the number one player in the class and also another five-star guy. But saying the big man situation is embarrassing, sure, whatever. Fine, I'll give you that, but I really hope that Paul Mbia and Christian Reeves tape that up in their locker. And then John Rothstein also came out with his Big 12 preseason power ranking. He has KU as the sixth best team in the Big 12. He has Arizona at 1, Houston at 2, sure. Iowa State at 3, which is interesting. BYU at 4, I'm not buying that whatsoever. TCU at 5, again, not buying that at all. The best transfer they got is like Tanner Toolson from Utah Valley or whatever. And Kansas at 6. I have an issue with John Rothstein. I think that at first it was organic and genuine, and his love for basketball was a beautiful thing. And then he got too commercialized and started to like profit off of it. And I think he's kind of a loser now. And then he just does clickbait stuff like this. KU at 6 is just absolutely egregious to me for his preseason power rankings. But he said kind of the same thing last year, and Kansas kind of disappointed. But Kansas still wound up being a 4 seed, so whatever. I'm not gonna get too far into it. Like I said, maybe I'll touch on it tomorrow. I'll probably open up the show with it tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk a little TBT tomorrow. Got a big show for you tomorrow, by the way. Sports stock market coming up tomorrow. Also going to try to talk to Brian Haney, voice of the Jayhawks. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Hey, Chiefs opponent outlook. Going to talk about the formerly San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers. Want to talk about just kind of where they sit right now. So they're bringing back a lot of offensive production in their skill position guys, obviously with Justin Herbert. Our technical director, Trey Myers, thinks that he's a sneaky MVP candidate. I will buy into that. I could certainly buy into that just because of the fact that, you know, we've seen a lot of flashes from Justin Herbert, and they have been really good. And I think Jim Harbaugh does a really good job of you know, making that offense and defense kind of run like a machine. So it has been really good. And I think Justin Herbert, again, is a very fine quarterback. Amarion Hampton is back at running back. We saw him really kind of blow up on the scene last year, kind of as virtually their number one guy. I mean, he got, you know, dinged up a little bit, I believe. Only played 9 games, but he had 124 carries for 545 yards, 4 touchdowns, excuse me. Kamani Vidal, he wound up playing in 13 games for the Chargers last year. He had 643 yards, their leading rusher. He's actually back as well, but listed as the second string, which makes sense because Amarion Hampton got hurt. He had 3 touchdowns on the year last year. So interesting to kind of see how their running back room kind of is assessed. Also, they are bringing back Najee Harris, I believe. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see that. Let me check their. Oh, actually, no. It looks like he's not on the roster anymore. Where's Najee Harris at? I don't know. We'll figure it out. A free agent right now. Shout out to Najee Harris, man. I thought that was going to be a problem, but then he blew his eye out with a firework or something. That's really unfortunate. So Najee Harris no longer with the Chargers. But again, they're bringing back their 2 leading rushers, I guess. And Amarion Hampton, I think, is going to have a big second year. Look at the receiving core. Ladd McConkey, he's obviously going to be back. Led the team in receiving yards last year, 789 yards, 6 touchdowns in 16 games played. They do lose Keenan Allen. He's no longer with the team, but they're bringing back Quentin Johnston, who kind of had a nice little career resurgence last year. 51 catches, 735 yards, 8 touchdowns. If you remember the first couple of years of Quentin Johnston, I mean, just butterfingers galore, but, wound up raking him in 51 receptions, like I said, over 700 yards, so good on him. And then Trey Harris is really going to be that number 3, maybe even number 2 option for this Chargers team. He played in all 17 games last year, 30 receptions, 324 yards, only a touchdown. But right now he's listed as that 3rd starter for the Chargers. I think he's primed to have a really nice year. Also, Luke Grimm, shout out. He's 3rd string wide receiver on this, right behind Quentin Johnston. Hopefully Luke Grimm can get a little action on that as well. If you look at their defense is still going to be relatively good. I mean, Derwin James is getting a little older. I understand that, but I still like Derwin James a lot. Khalil Mack, again, is still he's getting a little older, right? But they have some really nice pieces around, right? You look at Dante Jackson, you look at Cam Hart at the corners. I mean, those guys are serviceable, I would say. Tuli Tuipulotu, Will linebacker, I really like him too. I think he's going to be an absolute rock star. At 13 sacks last year for the Chargers. So again, when you look at this game coming off of a bye, and I think in terms of this game, because it's going to be at home in Kansas City, you're coming off of a bye. Andy Reid is so good off bye games that it's so hard to bet against them, right? I understand the Chargers are coming in. Justin Herbert feels like his window of opportunity to stake his claim as a top 5 quarterback is essentially running out right now. So this is going to be a big year for Justin Herbert. This is going to be a big year for Jim Harbaugh as well. But again, it's hard to bet against Andy Reid and the Chiefs off of a bye. And I don't love the fact that the bye is this early in the season, but when it's a divisional opponent after a bye, then I'm kind of okay with it, right? You would probably hope to get maybe the Broncos after a bye, but the Chargers are essentially the next best thing. But Chargers last year, I mean, they were really good on defense. They were the 5th in defensive leaders in terms of yards allowed per game. So it'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs can maybe establish a run against their defensive line, who is going to be really good. They have a couple of really nice linebackers, a couple of nice edge rushers as well. And by this time, you're going to think, hopefully, that the chemistry's there with this receiver core, and Xavier Worthy's healthy. Hopefully Rashee Rice is healthy, right? Hopefully Kenneth Walker starts to get into a groove and understand the offense maybe a little bit more. So that's my outlook on the Los Angeles Chargers. Hey, we got a lot of stuff coming up for tomorrow on Rock Chalk Sports. Like I said, Brian Haney should be coming in studio. It's going to be fun to kind of talk his ear off a little bit about KU baseball, maybe some KU basketball and football stuff as well, sports stock market, and I'm going to be previewing Jayhawks Hoops taking on Purple Rain. It's going to be tomorrow at Bramlage. Like I said, I implore you to go buy tickets and drive out to Manhattan. I know it sucks driving out to Manhattan because nobody wants to spend their Friday night in Manhattan, but you can see former Jayhawks of old. You can see Frank Mason and Mario Chalmers playing on the same court together. It's unbelievable to see in person. So that's all coming up tomorrow on Rock Chalk Sports. For Trey Myers, Elijah Schmidt, I've been Daniel Courtwright saying thanks so much for listening to Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.
What's up, everybody? Dan Peterson. Everybody go check out KansasNation.com.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team JayHawks Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just